Hi, I'm Major Smith, the teacher guy. Today we're going to talk about significant law changes that were put into effect in 2019. The first change is the coin toss. The winner of the coin toss now gets to decide whether they want to kick off or choose a side to attack. If they decide to kick off, then the opposing team gets the choice of which side to attack. That means that when you do the coin flip, you ask the team that wins the toss whether they would like to kick off first or pick a side to attack. If they choose a side, then you tell the other team that they have the kickoff. If they choose to kick off, then you ask the other team which goal they want to attack. The next change is the goal kick. Goal kicks no longer have to leave the penalty area. Therefore, the ball is in play when it's kicked and clearly moves. Now, the mechanics of this law change are a little interesting. When a goal kick is awarded to a team, their opponents must leave the penalty area, and the team taking the goal kick is permitted to wait until they do so.6However, the team taking the kick is not required to wait. They may choose to take the kick quickly. If they do so, it is at their own risk, and if the opponent steals the ball, even within the penalty area, play continues. That said, the new law states that an opponent who is in the penalty area may not touch or challenge for the ball before it is in play. If that happens, then a kick is retaken. For those of you refereeing U9 and U10 games with build-out lines, the new law now means that defending teams may cross the build-out line the moment that the ball is kicked and clearly moves. Those players do not have to wait until the ball leaves the penalty area to cross the line. The change in goal kicks applies equally to any free kick taken from within the kicking team's own penalty area. Remember, all free kicks used to have to leave the kicking team's area before it could be touched by either team. That no longer applies to any free kick. The ball is in play when it's kicked and clearly moves. Speaking of free kicks, the new laws also change the way teams can line up when they are taking a free kick. If the defending team sets up a wall of 3 or more players, then the attacking team may not be within 1 meter of the ball. If an attacker is within 1 meter of the wall when the kick is taken, then the referee is instructed to stop play. The restart is an indirect free kick for the defending team from the place where the offending attacker was standing. Remember, this only applies when there's a wall of 3 or more players. The new laws now make it easier for a team to take a quick free kick, even if the foul that led to the free kick would have resulted in a caution or send-off. If a team takes a quick free kick and develops a goal-scoring opportunity, the referee should allow play to continue and delay the caution or send-off until the next stoppage. Again, correct game management by the referee is important here. When you see a foul that should result in a caution or send-off, give a hard whistle and pay attention to whether the attacking team would have a goal-scoring opportunity if they were to restart quickly. If they would, and they appear to immediately be ready to play, delay the card and allow them to play quickly. If there would be no goal-scoring opportunity, then stop play as you always would have. Now, if they do play quickly and have that goal-scoring opportunity, then you need to remember 2 things. The obvious thing is to catch the number of the player you're going to show a card to, because you need to show that card at the next stoppage. The second thing is another important change. Because the quick kick restored a goal-scoring opportunity for the attacking team, if the original foul was dog-so, and the defender was going to be sent off for it, then you reduce that sanction to a caution. The idea is that the player was going to be sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity, but the goal-scoring opportunity was restored by the quick kick, so the send-off is no longer necessary. Finally, keep in mind that once you start the procedure of showing a card by calling a player to you or pulling a card out of your pocket, then you cannot allow the quick kick. That would create an unfair advantage for the attacking team and is one more reason to pause for a second when it looks like a goal-scoring opportunity exists. The next big change is the rewriting of the handling offense. And yes, the laws of the game now explicitly refer to it as handball as well as handling. When thinking about these changes and how to apply them, it is important to keep in mind some general principles. Intentional handballs are always called. Some accidental handballs should be called. And players who intentionally put themselves at risk of playing the ball with their hand or arm should generally be penalized when that happens. But a player player who could not reasonably avoid the touch should not be penalized. The new laws now create 3 categories: situations that are always an offense, usually an offense, and usually not an offense. Here's what the new laws define as always an offense. 1. When the player deliberately touches the ball with his hand or arm, including by moving his hand or arm toward the ball. 2. Anytime the ball hits the hand or arm and goes directly into the goal. 3. When the ball hits the hand or arm and the player gains control and either scores or creates a goal-scoring opportunity. All of these situations are defined as always an offense. The new laws then define 2 situations when the ball may accidentally touch a player's hand or arm, but you would say that the player took an unreasonable risk and would usually find an offense. Those 2 situations are when the player's hand or arm has made their body unnaturally bigger, and when the player's hand or arm is above the player's shoulder level, unless the player has just deliberately played the ball and it touches their own hand or arm from that play. So, when you see the ball hit a hand, and the hand is making the player unnaturally bigger, or it's above their shoulder level, you're usually going to make the call, even if the opponent has played the ball from a close distance. Finally, there is a clarification that if a goaltender who handles the ball inside their own penalty area when not permitted to do so should never receive a caution or send-off. That would be true even if by picking up the ball with their hands, they deny a goal-scoring opportunity or deny a promising attack. The substitution law has also changed. Now, substituted players must leave the pitch at the nearest point unless otherwise instructed by the referee. Make sure to check your local rules though, because some leagues, like NCSL, are still allowing players to leave the field wherever they choose. Thanks to the Women's World Cup, one of the most well-known law changes is to the penalty kick procedure. The referee should not whistle for the kick to be taken if the goalkeeper is touching the goalpost, crossbar, or goal net. If the goalkeeper has touched any of those things, the referee should not blow the whistle until they stop moving. When the ball is kicked, the defending goalkeeper must have at least one part of their foot touching or in line with the goal line. If the goalkeeper steps with both feet either behind or in front of the goal line before the kick is taken, and the ball does not go into the net, the kick is retaken and the goalkeeper is cautioned. Of course, at the younger levels, my advice is to continue to give little leeway to the goalkeepers, but maybe that's because I am a goalkeeper myself. One more point on penalty kicks. Ordinarily, a player receiving treatment must leave the field, but if the restart is a penalty kick and the injured player is to take the kick, then they may receive treatment on the field and do not have to leave. Speaking of goalkeepers, there are 2 other changes that affect them. The first is that they can no longer score by throwing the ball into an opponent's goal. Frankly, I think that any goalkeeper who has the strength to do that should probably just be given credit for the goal, but the laws no longer allow it. The second change applies to passbacks. Just as in the past, a goalkeeper cannot handle a ball with their hand or arm directly from a teammate's throw-in or after it's been deliberately kicked to the goalkeeper by a teammate. But the new laws add an exception for when the goalkeeper receiving the ball has clearly kicked or attempted to kick the ball to release it into play. This is a strange addition, but the point is, if the goalkeeper has very clearly attempted to kick the ball and release it into play, but misplays or misses the ball, then they may then handle it. If the goalkeeper fakes the attempt and is not clearly attempting to release the ball into play, then they cannot handle it. We used to say that the referee was part of the field and that the ball remained in play after it hit him. That's not always true anymore. Now, the ball is considered out of play when it touches any match official and remains on the field of play, and either leads to the start of a promising attack, goes directly into the goal, or causes a change of possession. If any of those things happen, blow the whistle and restart with a drop ball. There is no advantage applied. Just blow the whistle. The drop ball restart procedure has been completely reworked. We no longer have contested drop balls. Instead, the ball is dropped for one player, and all other players must be at least 4 meters away from the ball until it is in play. So the question is, who gets the drop ball? If the play was stopped when the ball was in the penalty area, or when the last touch of the ball was in the penalty area, then the ball is dropped for the defending team goalkeeper in their penalty area. In all other cases, the ball is dropped for one player of the team that last touched the ball at the position where it was last touched by a player, an outside agent, or a match official. Assistant referees should be alert to this change and help the referee with the restart, especially when the referee's attention is drawn to an injury away from it. The final change we will review today has to do with showing cards to team officials. The new laws specifically allow for both red and yellow cards to be shown to team officials, and they make clear that if misconduct is clearly committed but cannot be attributed to any specific team official, the referee is to show the card to the most senior team official present, which, in most of our cases, would be the head coach. Of course, in NCSL and most youth leagues in the United States, we have been showing cards to coaches for years, so it's not much of a change for us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, comment down in the comment section below. Without any further ado, game on!